Hey folks, Brandon Harris here, the Tattooed Conservative, talking a little bit today, guys, about the Kyle Rittenhouse case, what's going on in Wisconsin with the young man who is now being brutalized by the prosecution. I mean, the prosecution has now affected his Fifth Amendment rights. They've also had the judge tell them, the judge just doesn't believe what they're saying. The judge is tired of them playing games. And this case has turned out to be a political nightmare, as we originally assumed it would be. Here's the case, here's the solutions, here's the details. All in 120 seconds, folks. So Kyle Rittenhouse was up in Kenosha the same time I was for the Kenosha riots. He brought a gun up. He went up with a friend to try to protect businesses and property at a place he used to work. During that period of time, protesters chased down Kyle, ended up hitting him in the back of the neck with a skateboard and pulling a gun on him, threatening to kill him. At which time, Mr. Rittenhouse discharged his firearm multiple times, killing 2 people and leaving 1 person paralyzed but injured. The person who was paralyzed and injured then went on to trial to state he did point the gun at Kyle before Kyle ever pulled the trigger on him. And it has now been proven, witness after witness after witness by the prosecution, that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense. Under Wisconsin law, this should be a clean and cut case, but because he was a minor carrying a firearm, the prosecution is trying to run him through the dirt as a white supremacist. First off, Kyle is not a white supremacist. Secondly, he was a darn good kid, headed a lot of great places, who happened to make a choice to go up and try to defend our nation. A lot of us did try to defend our nation during that period of time when the police and the fire were overwhelmed and the politicians were kneeling for violence. Yes, get that right. Your politicians were kneeling for this violence. Thirdly, folks, young Mr. Rittenhouse, well up there, was giving medical attention to people, cleaning up graffiti, trying to pick up the aftermath of what our politicians could not handle, which your elected officials, your elected Democrats, refused to do anything about. They'd rather get down on one knee in support of what was going on than say anything. Now, in retrospect, when we look at something like January 6th, folks, I had the feds at my house. The FBI showed up to my house, me, the Tattooed Conservative, knocked on the door, asked my name. I had to show them identification. They stated they were at the FBI and they were there to investigate my involvement in January 6th. I happened to have been in Homer Glen, Illinois, had a video to prove that. Sat and spoke with the officers for a little bit, and they ended up headed out. But the fact is that they showed up to my home. They showed up to many people's homes, utilizing January 6th as a way to attack conservative supporters, to scare conservatives out of being conservative. And guess what, folks? I haven't quit. I didn't let them knocking my door stop me from speaking to you. I'm not going to allow them to continue to push people around. We need to stand up. We need to unify. We need to look at cases like Kyle Rittenhouse and stand behind the young man who's got a lot of future ahead of him, who doesn't deserve to be sitting on trial right now. We should be making a statement. I'm going to continue making statements. This case is bogus. I've stood with Kyle since the beginning. You can attack me on Twitter, as all you libtards have. You can attack me on Facebook, attack me anywhere you'd like to attack me. I'll be glad to debate you at any point in time. I'd be glad to stand toe-to-toe and debate you on stage because you guys are idiots. It's a pure case of idiocracy. You can stand and mourn a guy who died by police brutality, but we can't stand and support a kid who got attacked by people with a gun? Come on, America, what the heck's going on here? What the heck's going through your brains to make you think that we're not going to defend this young man? What the heck's going through your brains to make you think you don't have any other option but to run to the Democrat side and listen to their crying sob story? It's a game, and I'm not playing the game anymore. We're no longer playing the game of, oh, we're going to stand behind the politicians and stand behind their horrible service. No, folks, we're going to call them out. We're going to call it as we see it. I'm calling this case acquitted. This case needs to be acquitted. The case needs to be dropped. Kyle Rittenhouse needs to be able to live his life, go on in the future, and anybody who has bashed this kid's name, run him through the mud, called him a white supremacist for defending himself. I pray he sues the living breaks off of you. I pray you have to pay him, his grandkids to come, and grandkids after that. Because what they've done to this poor young man is nothing less than torture. What the media has done to this poor young man, what the Democrats have done to this poor young man, is nothing less than torture, folks. The kid broke down in tears on his freaking trial because he felt horrible. Not because he was worried about himself, because he felt bad, guys. He has emotions. He has feelings. He feels bad for what happened. Anybody would feel bad after killing people, after being attacked and threatened to be killed by those people. Anybody's going to suffer mentally from that. But we don't see that on the left-hand side. All we see is a poor, racist white boy being protected by white people, and it's not a white or black thing, folks. I'm so tired of the white or black movement. We're all people. I love all people all together. It is a young kid who was attacked by not black males, but males in general, hit with a skateboard, threatened to be killed, who pulled the trigger in defense of his own life, and that's where it's going to stay, folks. God bless you all for watching. Stay tuned in. We got a lot more coming your way. The Tattooed Conservative checking out.